if we're going to jump into it right off the bat,
no one else can see it but us right now.
Let's get our news and Amuse going.
I mean, I don't.
We'll go to bootlicker last, but we'll go to news and
we
Amuse.
gotta do
Gotta do news first.
All right.
So we're going to do news first.
I don't understand. Well, I mean, look, I personally have been like on a Bernie meme-a-thon with him with his glove.
Yes, but
mittens,
the fact
they
that
make me happy.
The fact that Biden was inaugurated yesterday.
Yeah.
The fact that Kamala became the first female to enter into the White House in whatever capacity.
And Bernie and his mittens were the number one.
Bernie was the number one thing.
Of course.
Which it just goes to show you that the future belongs to the Bernie movement. However which way it ultimately unfolds, there is no question that what Bernie is fighting for and what he stands for, that whole I'm not getting dressed up for this. I'm here because I have to be.
And not only did he not get dressed, he was there on his way to work. Like it was just sort of like stopping, you're on your way to the office, you have to stop by.
My good friend Joe is being sworn in as the president. Kamala's the vice president, and I have to get to work. So I'll make my appearance, and then I have to go.
Right. He's just stopping off on his way to work. He actually has things to do. But the whole thing with him, with the mittens, it's just the best. I cannot. And I do take a very good amount of pleasure in the fact that he was the number one trending thing above and beyond Joe and Kamala. I think that's awesome because they will never be as popular as him.
Well,
never.
Because his support is real, and it's very much grounded in activism and history of actually fighting for the causes that we're fighting for. And so Bernie now, as the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, that really puts him in a very unique, powerful position. And who knows, maybe that was, as we discussed, maybe that was the grand bargain between him and Biden, because nobody on Capitol Hill wants Bernie Sanders in charge of the budget in the United States Senate. Nobody. So the fact that he's in that position, to me, is probably the terms that he and Joe had agreed to.
Well, and it's infinitely better than him being in a cabinet position.
Just like
we can't lose him in the Senate. That would be horrible.
And just like we couldn't lose Andrew Yang being in Biden's
that would have been wasteful as well. You want to be
100%.
The people that go in the cabinet are sort of just they're holding a space.
And you're in, and ironically, it brings us to a very good segue, which of course is who is this gentleman right here?
I don't know. He looks like the bad guy in like a Bond film or something.
Oh, he does look like the villain. He definitely does. Yeah. And he is a villain.
Who is that?
His name is James Dolan. He is the owner of the New York Knicks and I believe the New York Rangers.
How in the world would you ever think I would even know that? And how is it? This is news? Who is this?
Well, the reason why he is news is because Andrew Yang recently stated that, as we discussed, he is going to put a tax on Madison Square Garden if ultimately he were to become the mayor of New York City. Well, needless to say, James Dolan didn't think too highly of this.
I'm sure not. Yes.
Clearly thinks Yang is a threat. So what is he doing? He's forming a PAC.
Basically just against Andrew Yang.
Just against Andrew
Yang. The anti-Yang PAC.
Oh, yeah. So that just goes to show you how much of a threat Andrew really is.
Good. That pleases me.
1,000%. And of course,
wait. Why doesn't Madison Square Garden pay taxes now?
Apparently, Dolan and his father, because of course he inherited it. It comes from his daddy.
Yeah, but why in general does that not?
Well, because I think it has something to do with the fact that Madison Square Garden is directly connected to Cablevision, which is where it started. And I think they have some type of...
Is it a for-profit business?
Of course.
Then I don't understand why they're not paying taxes.
Well, for whatever reason, they've been getting away with not paying taxes for 3 decades.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. They should be paying back taxes. You know what the property tax is probably?
Oh, apparently it could be in like the billion-dollar range.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad this is.
Well,
and
what? See, but now this guy's at least an example of someone that spent the money for a good rug on his head. Trump should take a lesson from that. Because if you have the money, why would you have that ridiculous thing that Trump has? At least spend the money for a good weave. That's a good weave.
There's a lot of people who have a lot of money and don't actually know what to do with it and don't actually have any sense of style.
I don't know.
Well, Dolan he apparently has a band, JD and the Something Shot, I think is what it's called. And it's a terrible band.
Well,
and so I heard he pays for the venue. And that.
What is he? So you're saying that he's a musician?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Well, there is no question that Dolan has been one of the absolute worst owners.
Only
in
you
all
would
of
turn our news and
professional
Amuse
sports.
into somehow into a sports segue.
But this is a big thing because this guy is willing to spend a lot of money against Yang.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you. And for any of the candidates out there in New York, if you take Dolan's money, the Yang gang, Humanity Forward, they're going to know about it and they will use it against you.
And they'll come for you.
This is the greatest reverse endorsement I've ever seen.
It is. It's great. Now we have to hate on this guy. So
how could you not?
I know. Look at him.
What he's done to the Knicks to begin with is
all right. See now
I'm not even a Knicks fan, and I feel terrible for them.
That's just
so it's really bad. But all kidding aside, I would say, in terms of what Biden has done, obviously he's pushing the mask mandate, which is important.
Yes.
Because you should be required to wear masks indoors. That absolutely should be a requirement. But with that said,
yeah,
how this is being handled in terms of the vaccination, in terms of being distributed properly around the country. If any of you, a lot of you are from Florida, as you know, the distribution down here has been nothing short of a nightmare. Yeah. So we have a very serious problem as far as that is concerned. But with that said, how are we going to fix this problem? Well, West Virginia has given us a blueprint into how to do that.
They're the only state that
has gotten this
right.
And why did they get it right?
How is that possible?
Why did they get it right? Why?
But it is very interesting.
Why did West Virginia get it right?
Well, I mean,
they're not dealing directly with Big Pharma.
Because Big Pharma wrote them off.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you're.
Isn't that great?
And so they actually are the ones who have done the best job at vaccine distribution.
By far, they've done the best job.
They have not been beholden and been hamstrung by Big Pharma.
So
the moral of the story.
West Virginia has been distributing the vaccine directly through the local pharmacies instead of Walgreens and CVS.
Right. They don't have this big contract deal there.
No contract, and
because those companies generally don't care about West Virginia.
How's this for a statistic? I think it's about 90% of the state of West Virginia is now vaccinated.
Good.
We need Medicare for all. End of discussion.
Yeah.
This is another example, clear as day, as what happens when you have a universal healthcare system that is not driven directly by profit. If you are a doctor, we are not telling you that you cannot make whatever you want to make. We do not need for-profit middlemen like CVS and Walgreens getting in the way of us distributing a vaccine because they're not making enough money.
And by the way, Florida is so bad.
Oh,
like I was on our juvenile justice conference call today for the League of Women Voters for the state. We have a monthly meeting and there's a speaker and it's really good. And the speaker today is a judge in Miami that's been very active in dealing with helping reform Baker Act. And dealing with mental illness, and really, really good speaker.
Yes.
And Florida is 46th out of 50 in dealing with mental illness and the availability of mental illness services.
And think about that. Think about a
46.
state. 46th. Florida is, which is usually where it ranks
in
like
things like richest state.
Yeah, when it comes to education.
Oh, yeah.
We're like at the bottom.
And yet we're one of the richest states. So people should wonder, where's that money going?
Why is Florida competing with Louisiana, with West Virginia?
No, we're not. West Virginia is doing better than us.
No, I'm just saying in terms of, when it comes to the general rankings.
Oh, yeah.
We're right down there with West Virginia, Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
And yet we are one of the richest states. Like, so we should be up with California and New
York.
Yeah, all of the places that have it good. They have it good, and we do not. And yet we have the money for it. And yet nobody's wondering, where's the money going? Where does that money go?
But that is the beautiful thing about what's going to happen now. As you suggested, the Democrats really didn't want to win in Georgia. They didn't. Now, of course, John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock.
And when he says the Democrats, he means like establishment people in charge, not regular people that were out knocking on doors and busting their asses.
Warnock wanted to win. Ossoff wanted to win.
And people working for them wanted them to win.
Stacey Abrams definitely wanted them to win. Stacey Abrams is definitely going to run for governor in 2 years. So, there were people who wanted that to happen, but there were people at the top who didn't want it to happen.
No, they're safer with it not being in the majority.
And the person at the top who didn't want that to happen, as much as anybody, is our bootlicker of the week.
Okay, wait. So all right, I got to switch over. I've got challenges. All right, go ahead.
You need me to help?
Yeah, well, you could do it. So, but you got to go to You're not.
Okay, I'm going to let you do it.
This is what I'm saying. You did it wrong.
I don't want to mess up.
You're going to mess it up.
But our bootlicker of the week
here we go.
Has to be.
There we are.
Chucky the Schumer.
Oh, God.
Chuck Schumer.
My father looks nothing like Chuck Schumer.
Put the glasses down.
No, he always tells me that my dad looks like Chuck Schumer. My dad does not look like Chuck Schumer.
So, as it turns out, Chuck Schumer has already made it clear that he is ready to get on his knees for Mitch McConnell. That's unbelievable. They have
He's
control.
Gonna share. He's gonna share the power.
I can't handle this power by myself.
We're gonna share.
You gotta take some.
And
you gotta take some, Mitch.
It's just so pathetic because when in the history of the universe has a Republican Senate leader gone over to the Democrat minority leader and said, "Let's share power with you. We can't handle this all on our own. Let's share that with you." You know what? Screw your unity, Chuck. We don't need to be united. We need to get things done that people want done. Uniting with those people is not going to help.
If this is his way of basically saying, God, I really don't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do.
I don't really want to. I can't govern.
God.
But the beautiful thing about
reaches out to be unified with Mitch McConnell.
This is where if AOC really wanted to take the brass ring, this is her opportunity because
challenge Schumer.
His election is in 2 years.
Challenge
And
Schumer.
if he thinks he's going to get away with this, he is sorely mistaken.
I don't think she would do that.
I wish she would, and I don't think she will.
I don't think
I
she would do that.
she is unfortunately just going to wait.
I do too. At this point, I don't think she would do that. And you know what? Really, you have to look from where she's sitting, the repercussions of doing that and failing.
Yeah.
And then what kind of environment that creates. You know, that's tough. You know, you run for Congress against Crowley and you lose. Well, so you're not working with him, but like she goes to challenge Schumer and loses. It's like, I don't know.
But you also have to wonder.
And Dems don't like us challenging sitting Dems.
No, that is true. But at the same time, you also have to wonder how much does he think he's going to be able to get away with? And by saying, I'm going to share power with McConnell, you got to be kidding me.
On day one of us getting the slightest, minimum, barest of majorities, where you barely even have one, if not for the fact that we have Kamala Harris as vice president, we wouldn't even have a majority. And yet, he feels the need to still ceremoniously somewhat share that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. That is a bootlicker, my friends. Bootlicker.
And it's bad.
Unbelievable.
And of course, he seems so hapless. This is the guy who is in charge of the United States Senate. Listen, Mitch McConnell is the devil, but he gets everything he wants done. Everything. And that's why he's been in power for almost 40 years. And so by doing that,
I think he's the undead.
I think he sucked the soul out of Chuck Schumer.
Oh, I think
that's very plausible.
I mean, Mitch McConnell is like the undead.
He is.
And it is creepy.
And maybe there is this fear of some kind that there's like this power dynamic that exists. But people are going to get impatient very quickly. It's going to happen. You're already seeing, you're seeing it already.
I'm already impatient.
There is already a brewing level. There's this total lack of patience, which is good. And one of the last things I'll mention before Senator Jones comes in.
Well, yeah, we have to do a transition from our bootlicker to our change maker.
Brooksy, I miss you, brother. Hope to see you soon. Maybe this weekend for some football. I got a good friend of mine who lives up in Boca Raton. What I can tell you is that right now, the impatience is going to grow very quickly because Biden is already backing off of the $2,000 checks.
Well,
just any
they
checks.
already did, yeah.
Just any checks.
No.
I mean, that's amazing. They're already saying, yeah, maybe we'll get you a check in March. That's incredible. Do they really think people have any patience for this? I don't think so.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.